In Hell's Kitchen, skill alone doesn't decide victory, strategy does.
I wanted to make risottos the whole night without crab. I was just seeing what I could slip past Ralph tonight.
Michael had Ralph look stupid. Very clever move from Michael's behalf.
These chefs twisted pressure into control and turned slip-ups into stepping stones.
The pasta made from scratch?
Yes.
Oh wow, smart.
Visually very nice, very good.
These are the evil geniuses of Hell's Kitchen, and Michael Ray from season 1 set the blueprint for it. In the opening episodes, Michael kept a low profile, staying unusually quiet while the rest of the kitchen fought for attention. But behind that silence, he was watching closely and learning exactly what Chef Ramsay responds to.
Michael hasn't been Michael since day one. Michael's been quiet and watching and thinking and manipulating and waiting and not giving about anybody right now.
It all started in episode 5 when Michael turned his attention to Chris, the strongest competitor on his red team. He approached him as his friend. Michael reassured Chris that he wouldn't nominate him. At the time, it sounded sincere, but the reassurance didn't last.
Let me see it through the end. Shake hand, battle out. Yeah, no doubt. We gotta figure there's always that chance that you go strategy-wise and put me up on the block.
Like I don't want to.
Thanks, man.
Just come here, man. You got a friend in me.
While the rest of the kitchen slept, Michael spoke honestly to the cameras. He admitted that he was not here to make friends. He was here to win, and he was willing to do whatever it took. And he did the exact same.
And not give about anybody right now. I have to concern myself with myself. I will win this, Chef Ramsay. Got everything on the line for this.
In episode 5, during dinner service, the red team began to fall apart. Elsie and Chris struggled to push out entrees, desperately needing help.
I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on with what. Yes.
Because all I can see is just prepping here. You're like a little maid, just prepping here, but nothing's actually happening on the stove.
Michael saw it and deliberately stepped back. Instead of assisting his teammates, he focused entirely on his dessert station, determined to stand out to Chef Ramsay.
Desserts, Michael, how long?
We chef right here.
Service, please. Michael, thank you.
The red team lost the service, but Michael didn't. Chef Ramsay praised Michael's performance and rewarded him with the power to nominate 2 teammates.
Michael, you took care of the desserts. Feedback, outstanding. I want you to nominate 2 of your team for elimination.
Without hesitation, Michael put up Chris, his biggest threat. Chris was eliminated that night, and Michael later admitted the decision wasn't difficult. The fewer competitors left, the easier the path to victory.
My second nominee is Chris.
Chris.
Yes.
Wow. Chris, give me a jacket. We're leaving Hell's Kitchen.
In the final episode, when Michael and Ralph each got a shot at running the pass to prove they were head chef ready, but the moment Ralph stepped up, Michael quietly played. He sent out risottos without crabs, and Ralph did not catch it. The dishes went for service without tasting.
I'm trying to see how many can go without having crab in them. I wanted to make risottos the whole night without crab. I was just seeing what I could slip past Ralph tonight.
Ralph, have to taste.
I tasted it.
You tasted it, yeah?
Yes.
In my head, I was just sort of laughing, like, I can't believe he's letting him go like that.
What kind of risotto is that?
It's like mushroom and crab, but there's no crab. Oh, yeah.
And his mistake was only exposed when dishes went back.
The risotto is bland. Could you call it a crab risotto without crab in there?
You're in control, you're in the driving seat, and you should spot those kind of things, yeah?
Sorry, Chef.
Not sorry.
Gordon did not blame Michael. Instead, he was impressed by the sabotage, and in a single calculated play, Ralph was taken down completely.
Michael had Ralph look stupid and took him down big time. That was an interesting lesson, but a very clever move from Michael's behalf.
And by the end of the season, it worked. Michael Ray did not just win Hell's Kitchen Season 1, but also impressed Ramsay so much that he was offered the chance to become a chef alongside him.
I personally would like to invite you to come back with me to London to be part of one of the most famous restaurants in the world and work alongside me to become a top world-class chef.
While Michael Ray dominated Hell's Kitchen through strategy and manipulation, Meghan Gill from season 14 preferred a much more subtle approach by simply outthinking everyone around her. Where other chefs relied on effort alone, Meghan consistently worked smarter. One clear example came in episode 10, when high school students arrived as VIP guests for a special service. Meghan and Randy were assigned to the pasta station, working head-to-head. While Randy stuck to the basics, Meghan made a key decision. She prepared her pasta completely from scratch. It was a small adjustment, but one that immediately set her dish apart.
So I made this pasta, which is what kids like to eat, but then I made it from scratch.
Chef Ramsay noticed the difference right away. Meghan's pasta stood out.
Meghan, please describe the dish.
I made a fresh chive fettuccine and a cream sauce with some andouille sausage.
And is the pasta made from scratch?
Yes.
Oh wow, smart.
Visually very nice. Very good.
When Ramsay turned to Randy and asked how his pasta was made, learning that it wasn't made from scratch clearly disappointed him, and Meghan secured the win for her team.
Great. Did you make the pasta?
No, chef, I just used the fettuccine we had. I don't taste any seasoning, and I think it's not as light as the red team's dish.
Thank you.
And moments like this were not isolated.
At this point, the only way you can get to black is if you go as a team. And I think if you forget that, you're in trouble. Here, you have to earn your leadership.
I disagree.
Throughout the season, Meghan continued to separate herself through composure.
Josh is a strong player, but so is Meghan. She's smart, good chef, so we'll see.
She stayed calm when services got chaotic. In episode 12, while dinner service, Meghan made a mistake by sending raw steak out for service.
What is that? Meghan!
Yes, chef.
Come on, quick!
Me.
Of all the people, come on, look! Raw New York strip!
Yes, chef.
Come on!
After getting pointed out by Ramsay, instead of panicking, she collected herself back and even got black jacket in that episode.
Oh, yeah. A steak is my...
Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Congratulations, Meghan.
Thank you,
Great
chef.
job.
That steady, intelligent approach ultimately carried her all the way to winning Hell's Kitchen Season 14. Meghan worked smart, but her intelligence was nothing in comparison to Scott Cummings. From Season 12 got exceptional talking skills. From the start, Scott struggled to find his footies, exposed his weaknesses, and by Episode 2, his own team put him up for nomination. It wouldn't be the last time. Scott found himself nominated repeatedly, often because of uneven performances and mistakes that drew sharp criticism from Chef Ramsay.
Second nominee and why?
Scott, I've had some mistakes, but I keep learning every single day. I'm doing everything I can, working as hard as I can, and of course, I'm gonna stumble at times, but I'm gonna come through.
Ramsay openly scolded him for his failures, and the pressure only continued to build. But instead of deflecting blame or shutting down, Scott did something different. He owned his mistakes, he listened, and he adjusted.
Now we're serving salad soaked in water!
That was my fault, Chef.
Where's our rhythm, guys? Where the is our rhythm?
Whenever Scott stood in front of Ramsay, he stayed calm and direct. He explained his errors without excuses and laid out exactly how he planned to fix them. More than once, that composure flipped the outcome of nominations, allowing Scott to survive nights where elimination seemed inevitable.
Why do you think you should stay in Hell's Kitchen?
Chef, I've got a big heart and I put everything I have into what I do. I helped out everybody else around me as fast as I could. I helped run apps when I could get them out. I put myself out there on every station. I put myself out there every single time.
By episode 11, the shift was clear. His services became more consistent and Ramsay started to take notice.
Scott, what is that?
Chef, we have cheek ravioli. Also on top of that is some more of the jowl meat. I'm definitely taking a chance with the ravioli.
It's absolutely delicious.
Oh, thank you, Chef.
In episode 12, Scott delivered a dish that impressed Ramsay enough to earn him a rare honor, the chef's chair. It was a clear signal that Scott was no longer fighting to survive. He was earning respect.
Scott, let's go.
Sit in that chair, Scott.
What is it?
We've got some fried oysters with crispy mushrooms and bulgur wheat.
Oysters, delicious. Well done. You have earned your right to be in the chair.
Thanks, Chef.
By the end of the season, Ramsay called Scott the biggest comeback in Hell's Kitchen history.
Scott, congratulations.
Congratulations, man.
You are the biggest comeback chef in the history of this competition, let me tell you.
Thank you so much, Chef.
What began as a rocky start turned into a steady climb, and Scott Cummings completed it by winning Season 12. Not much like Scott, Ariel from Season 15 made it clear from day one what kind of player she was going to be. It started in Episode 2 during dinner service. Ariel served fish and chicken that were not fully cooked, but when Chef Ramsay catched the raw chicken, the attention immediately shifted to Mies.
How's your fish?
They cooked? No.
That's solid 5 minutes to the window. Just gotta finish it.
Chef Snapper's behind you, coming on the right.
I know she just took it up.
Ramsay demanded to know who prepared the dish, and Mies took the heat. Ariel stayed silent, never stepping forward, and let the moment pass without drawing attention to herself.
Who cooked the snapper?
I did, Chef.
It's raw.
You don't touch somebody else's dish.
By Episode 3, Ariel made her next move. After the red team lost the challenge, they agreed internally on who should be nominated. But when they stepped in front of Ramsay, instead of repeating the group decision, she named different chefs altogether, flipping the nominations on the spot and putting others directly in Ramsay's line of fire. And her strategy somehow worked.
Vanessa. She consistently is not being a team player for us. She's not communicating, she's not speaking up.
As weaker chefs continued to struggle, Ramsay's focus stayed locked on them, while Ariel quietly moved forward. At the same time, she never let her cooking slip. In Episode 6, she stepped into a leadership role and delivered a strong service, earning direct praise from Ramsay.
Ariel, vocal, assertive, and in control from start to finish.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you.
Her clean performances and carefully timed decisions, Ariel avoided becoming a target, while others fell apart around her. And by the end of the season, the approach paid off.
Your creativity and your attention to detail has been second to none.
Ariel did not just survive Hell's Kitchen Season 15, she won it.